Horror and video games seem to go hand in hand, and nothing strikes fear in the heart of more gamers than this Nintendo console. I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today I look at horror on the Wii U.
Second Opinion Games.
Bayonetta 2 deserves an honorable mention. After all, Nintendo had the guts to bring this to the Wii U when no one else would even touch it, making sure this game was made. It's an over-the-top action game where your character Bayonetta is a witch and the most powerful one to ever exist. The storyline isn't anything too creepy, but I do love some of the gothic character models and some of the just crazy over-the-top action that happens in the game itself. Bayonetta is a sweet game, and it plays really well, but sometimes I think it's actually playing me. See, I'm doing all these crazy moves, and I'm only tapping the same button over and over. Occasionally, I just sort of mash my hands down the controller and do some other stuff, but overall, this game sort of plays itself unless you play it on higher difficulty levels. If you get scared really easy while playing video games and want something a little more festive to play this Halloween, I can't think of a better witch to hang out with. Keeping up with the high action experience, check out Darksiders II. Now this game came out a few years after it was released on other consoles, so they had all of the bugs worked out. And also all of the downloadable content is now available on the disc. Now you might notice the atmosphere here has been really toned to be more creepy, and the music is super freaking over-the-top, action-packed, awesome, and still keeps some creepy tones in there just as well. Your character is Death, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and you're trying to free your brother War by killing everything in sight. Holy crap, is this game ever freaking awesome from start to finish. You also feel a lot more in control over Death than Bayonetta, meaning that it needs a lot more skill. Also, there's tons of RPG elements in here throughout, so you're not gonna beat it anytime soon. Resident Evil Revelations also came out on other consoles, and even came out on the 3DS. Matter of fact, this is a port of a 3DS game, meaning that the Wii U really had the advantage when bringing over all the special features to Nintendo's console. Also, the mercenaries are back, and you could unlock tons of different playable characters here. I really like playing as Lady Hunk, because it's Hunk, but it's a girl. Just shooting up all of these evil creatures seems to be lots of fun too, and they legitimately do scare the crap out of you when they bust down a toilet stall or just hide out around the corner and just kill you dead in no time flat. Yes, this is one of the best Resident Evil games I've ever played, including maybe even up there with Resident Evil 4. Certainly better than 5 and 6 by a mile. And those early Resident Evil games, well, it has a little bit of that flavor in there as well, with some backtracking and some weirdly obtuse puzzles. Revelations is definitely a revelation in the Resident Evil experience. If you wanted even more zombies though, then turn to ZombiU. This was a Wii U launch title, and you have to run around London trying to figure out how to bring down the whole zombie apocalypse thing that seems to be going on around you, and you have just one life. After that character dies, well then you'll be born again with just one life, and then you'll die again and then start up again with just one life. I know it seems to be kind of a weird, dumb gimmick, but one of the things I really like about this game is also the multiplayer experience, where someone can play as the Zombie King, and it's sort of like a game show where you just have to either capture the flag or just see how long you can stay alive in the zombie apocalypse, because these zombies are truly scary when they're spitting acid or exploding all up on you, and this fast-paced, action-packed game is definitely thrilling on the Wii U. Now, there are lots of other retail games that we could probably talk about, like the AMC's Walking Dead, Fatal Frame 4, or the Rocksteady Batman games that all set sort of a creepy tone. But seeing that the Wii U's eShop could go offline at any minute, I think we should focus more on some of the more creepy, downloadable titles. Electric Superjoy Groove City is sort of like a Super Meat Boy game with a much darker tone. The music here is really upbeat and keeps you in the mood, and there is pixar-perfect platforming to be done around every single level. But what really scares me about this game is how I become so close to the next checkpoint before I am just brutally killed by something I didn't see hiding in the shadows. This is a really cool platform game, but is also one of those ones that's really difficult. Sometimes the auto-scrolling just continuously beats you down, and you never know what's hiding in the darkness. Horror Stories is a game all about serial killers trying to track you down and murder you dead, but you can fight back by setting traps. However, setting traps takes quite a long time, so while you're setting them up, your serial killer becomes closer and closer to you. If they see you, you are dead, my friend. Now, there are 4 missions in each level and a total of 4 levels, which means 4 different scenarios where serial killers can take you out. If the guy with the chainsaw wasn't scary enough, maybe you'll be frightened to death by Jason Voorhees himself, or at least a reasonable knockoff, or maybe even a killer clown. I can't even come close to killing this death character because he just slices me in half all the time. This does get really scary and intense at times, as you become so close to setting that final trap just to have him rush down and cut you into pieces. This is one of the better $1 download titles out there. Another cheap downloadable game is Dying is Dangerous. When I first started playing this, I was greeted with an opening movie where it kind of shows that a girl has to run and get away from all of these evil things in order to make it to her boyfriend, when then she's just magically safe. Why the boyfriend can't come to her, who the heck knows? I thought the production quality on this was decent. It did feel like more of an indie film college thing going on, and then I was super psyched to actually jump in to play the game. And then I saw it was kind of like a Flash game. Now, this is sort of set up like Simon, but you get to see the field backwards, so it's kind of weird and hard to play. You have to mimic the different things like jump, dodge, headbutt, or kick, and if you could do so with a higher than a score of 14, well, then you are definitely better than I am. This is sort of fun for about 5 or 6 minutes, but it quickly is one that I tossed to the side. Unlike Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which is a game that I just can't put down. Seriously, I almost missed so many deadlines on this channel alone just because I want to beat one more level, and then when I died, I would want to play it all over again. Now, Isaac here is a cute little boy whose mom wants to kill him to appease her gods. He retreats down through a trapdoor and goes into his basement, where then he fights spiders and poop and pee, and he only has his tears and blood to save him. If you beat the game, you just might hang and kill yourself because this is just dark. The whole game is dark and creepy, and I cannot stop playing because of all of the different items that you could pick up along your way to make you feel far more powerful as you become more grotesque and deformed as you pick up these. What Binding of Isaac truly boils down to is Zelda mixed with a lot more poop. However, it's not very realistic in its gameplay, so then I have to turn to How to Survive. This whole game sort of teaches you what it would be like in a true zombie apocalypse if you were stuck on a deserted island with just a few more survivors to help out along the way and offer some missions to earn extra experience points to help you learn how to, start campfires. You also have to manage a day and night cycle. Your character will become sleepy. The load times are actually really cool too because they give you little quizzes that you could earn extra experience points in. Even if those experience points are very minute compared to actually killing the zombies themselves. Also, you have to worry about finding fresh water and even eating. And occasionally you'll be crafting tons of things like flamethrowers, machine guns. You might start off really simple at first with just a stick, but eventually you'll turn that stick into a bow and arrow and then make compression guns. And you know what? This is a truly epic experience that takes good use of the Wii U gamepad because that's where all of the crafting is done rather flawlessly as you explore the different islands here and find more crafting instructions as well as instructions that teach you how to survive. Chasing Dead is a pretty interesting zombie killing game because it always comes back to zombies after all, and it has a storyline, but I get distracted pretty easily, so I totally missed out on everything that was said. Now it seems that you're going to another alternate Earth and you crash land into a freaking airplane to start the game. Now there are guns all over this airplane, and luckily there's also zombies that eat the bullets of said guns. And this gets really rough, especially if you're used to playing with inverted controls, because you can't switch it to inverted. However, you can turn on the inner gyros of the Wii U tablet itself, and then you could tilt them in an inverted way to look around. It definitely doesn't help the controls too much though, so you'll be flailing around like crazy, blowing apart all the zombies in a very satisfying way. The graphics here are really kind of dumbed down, but it is a fun game, at least in a B-movie sense. But it's time now to jump into our scariest game, Slender The Arrival. This is a walking simulator with some mystery aspects. It really gives me a good sense of reality and exploring the woods and even some old abandoned houses. I used to do this quite a bit when I was a kid, and it was always scary even if there was nothing in the dark. However, in this game, there is definitely something in the dark, and you have to use a flashlight just to see what's going on. Now there is a little bit of a guide and road, and trying to just figure out where to go next and what to explore is what this whole game is about. Also, it's about some legitimate jump scares that will leave you hiding under your bed and give you nightmares for the rest of your life. And that's why this is my favorite horror game to play for the Wii U. But of course, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it. Some people seem to think that just playing the Wii U is a horrifying experience in itself. But you know what? This console had some terrific games. So if you're just trying to figure out what the Wii U is all about, make sure you look into my playlist on the Wii U, because that will give you a really good idea of what you missed out on. Also, I want to know what your favorite console was for horror games, and I then want to make a video on that. So I want plenty of comments, and until later, I will see you again, guys.